Sioux Furlong, West Rock Hill Township. Normally, at the September meeting, PSSA scores are reviewed. And also the other thing, what was the other thing I had on there? PSSA scores and
a summer school review.
There's usually a summer school review, how many people were invited to attend, how many people actually did, what was the tuition collected, what was the cost incurred. Same thing for the summer camps, such as the band camps, the violin camps, the drama camps. All that's supposed to be at either a profit, if you want to use that dirty word here in education, or break even. As taxpayer, I'm not mandated to pay for that. So I would like to know when those presentations will be made, including the financial part.
So I don't know how many times I can play the new guy card, but I'll play it there. I didn't know what was normal in terms of PSSA as well as summer school and camp. So we'll make sure that we have that information ready for the October meeting.
Okay. So for some other people, it's not their first rodeo, but you can play the card. I don't mind when you play it. So, but it is information that I would like to have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. Then we'll go to our first item, which is the AP Environmental Science textbook adoption. Dr. Dormer?
Yes, thank you, and good evening. It's my turn to play the newbie card. I'm here tonight to propose the adoption of an updated or current textbook for our AP Environmental Science course. Primarily, the rationale stems from the College Board's mandate that in order to maintain the advanced placement designation, no textbook may be older than 10 years. And the current text that we use is dated 2009. So if we go beyond this year, we will lose our AP designation for this course. One thing I can say in full support of this class is that from 15-16, 16-17, and 17-18, and I only went back 3 years, so you have to forgive me for that, we were running 2 sections of this class. We are now running currently 4 sections of the course, and the demand for it remains high. The test scores are phenomenal, and we have a very good teacher in place who's highly enthusiastic about continuing that pattern and keeping them popular, and also challenging the students at a high level. It is one of our applied sciences that incorporates a lot of our different disciplines and content areas and gets to examine them in some pretty neat ways. So in order to comply, we feel like we wanted to adopt a new text. I don't know if we can scroll through that. Okay. So I just provide an overview of our science department goals, the units of study, methods of evaluation, and we did a little bit of evaluating one text versus another. We first looked at our current text and the updated edition, and then I decided to compare that to a couple others and have arrived at the preferred choice of exploring environmental science for AP, as put out by Cengage and sponsored by National Geographic. It just seems to present the material in the most kind of unbiased manner, with a variety of resources such as current case studies in the field, a lot of really, really cool diagrams, prompts for critical thinking that were not included in the other text, sample AP problems, and just ways for students to engage in the materials in a very deep and meaningful manner. So that's why this particular one is the preferred choice. And our teacher can, if you choose to investigate, her test scores, just demonstrate that, our students are ranking high above the national averages in pretty much all the sections, multiple choice free response, and in the individual topic areas in this class. Any questions or concerns about the adoption of a new text for this class?
I just want to state for the record that there are samples of the chapters of the textbook that are available, that are there from that standpoint, so I want to thank you for that. I also just want to congratulate the teacher, if you pass on the word, in terms of the scores. They just really are impressive as you compare it both to the state, but also nationally and internationally on that AP Environmental. To have 89% of the students getting a 3 or higher and 63 getting a 4 or higher is really, really strong, so I appreciate that. Can you talk to us a little bit about the online resources that are available? I see that there is not an e-book associated with this, and I don't know whether that's less common with an AP example or not, but what type of online resources will the teacher have available to use with the students?
Sure, it is actually relatively common for the AP level text not to have an ebook, just to have the on-paper copy. But a lot of the resources that I had just mentioned, the interactive diagrams and the case studies are actually available online. And some of those even elicit, public comment. So students can engage with students from other areas from around the country to discuss, their resolutions to the particular cases of interest, which is pretty neat because then it goes beyond Pennridge walls and truly makes it, a global investigation of sometimes controversial topics, climate change and, use of resources and conservation and things like that.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for including the test scores, because although we see these in a general sense, Dr. Scheid presents them every year, it's nice to see them specific to this course, since we are looking at the interest and the change in your curriculum, so to speak, or at least the textbook that's used for that curriculum. And I know the AP courses there define, only certain textbooks are available to use, so that makes the process, I believe, a bit more challenging at times. So thank you for including those. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you, we appreciate the praise. The teacher is very proud of what she does. But not necessarily for the scores that are produced, but for the depth of learning that the students demonstrate and the enthusiasm that they end up generating for the content. So, but it's nice to see that turn into some positive results as well.
I would just like to thank Dr. Dormer. She has big shoes to fill, as everyone knows that Mrs. Cotner-Davis retired last year. So I want to thank you for taking that initiative. This was something that you didn't start and you took over, and I certainly appreciate your leadership.
Thank you.
I'm going to point out that in the report, that I think this is the teacher speaking, that she found herself supplementing information from other resources.
Yes.
And so this text filled in those gaps for her. And I know it's already been said, but thank you. The scores are exciting for me. I think that our students, my own children, have benefited from the AP courses they've taken at Pennridge and the scores that they've received, earned on their AP exams. That's helping them as they go through college. So I appreciate that. And there's something else I was going to say, and I can't remember, but yeah. So thank you. The other thing is that this is a growing. I hear more and more students who want to go into this as a major in college. So to have this for them here, I think is nice. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Is everybody go ahead? Did you?
It is a blossoming field for sure. And as a former AP science teacher myself, I can honestly say that student feedback is one of the greatest, praises that we can receive. And we did a survey to all of our AP students at the end of last year. And not only did the teacher get positive comments on how the course was delivered and so forth, but one of the major themes that seemed to be permeating through many of our AP courses was that students felt prepared and excited about taking on their studies at the college level. And many of them who had spoken to peers who had gone on and already had their introductory level courses said that they were the easiest classes on their college schedule, which made them very happy. And they were tutoring other folks in those areas. So to get feedback like that is phenomenal.
My own kids, they make the younger siblings jealous because Charlotte's in 11th grade now. last year she took some APs, and she's churning through this. She was doing her summer work this summer, and my older daughter's just flitting around and having a grand old time, nothing to do in the summer, but she's trying to tell Char that it pays off. Like, it is kind of a relief. They get to college and, the workload almost seems less than what they might have encountered here, so thank you.
Sure.
And so everybody's comfortable with putting this on the 24th for the school board meeting? Thank you.
Thank you, I'll share the good news.
Okay, and then the next thing is the Future Ready Index update. Dr. Shai.
Is that for me to? The little.
Good evening, everyone. Just making sure this is going to. The clicker's going to work. No, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. As you may or may not recall,